What's up everybody, this is Chris with Coalition Gaming and we're back with another video. So, a good friend of mine, Brian, recently built his brand new 1080 Ti 8700K system in a build off against one of our other friends that'll be linked up here. And well, he had an extra computer, one of his older ones that was just set aside collecting dust. So I figured that he'd just give it to me and I can go through it and see what I could use from it. So let's do that today. I have it right here with me. It's in an old Antec Dark Fleet full tower case, much like the one that Wayne had before in his older video, probably linked right here as well. And yeah, let's get to it. So here we have the computer. As you can see, it is quite dusty. But I did say it was just sitting there collecting dust. Got some stickers on it, gonna try to remove those, clean up the case if I decide to keep it. It's still a perfectly good case, it's just an older style case. You can see the black and red theme it had going on. This case is a really interesting case for its time because remember all these opened up, stuff like that, and well, I know these open too, I just don't remember how. But you can even turn the fans up and down. It was nifty. Something else that was cool about it, it was a bit ahead of its time at this point, is it had a 2.5-inch drive dock at the top, which is obviously much more useful now with the proliferation of 2.5-inch drives, but back in its day, 3.5-inch drives were basically the only standard. SSDs and laptop drives getting used in full-size computers nowadays, that's more of a recent trend, and this was ahead of its time regarding that. This would be incredibly useful nowadays, especially if you had like portable drives, if you did a lot of video work and stuff like that. Let's go ahead and take the side panel off and start going through it. So it looks like we have an Asus ROG motherboard. Probably one that overclocks well considering how heavily fortified or heavily cooled the VRM components are. I'm not sure which is the Crosshair V5 formula. I'm not sure what chipset this is, but I'm pretty sure it's an AMD board considering it's an AMD heatsink on here, but this is a dinky little tiny AMD one. Let's see what's under that. Ow! Oh shit, come on. Well, I guess he just had this on there for the sake of having it on there because there's no thermal paste. Clearly that wouldn't work very well, but we have an FX processor, so that's a good sign. Not a Sempron or something. And what do we got here? This is an FX 4100. So here we have, what's it? Pile driver? The original pile driver. It's an okay processor. So that's nice. Set that aside. No RAM. Boo! Who's complaining though? I got it for free. Oh yeah, check this out though. Still rocking the plastic. Oh yeah. Ah, yes. So this is a really nice motherboard, as a matter of fact. I'm just looking at it and it's nice. What can you say? USB 3.0 header, got all the SATA ports, 4 PCIe slots, actual classic PCIe, and an X1 slot, as well as a 4-pin Molex on the motherboard for additional power if you were to be running Crossfire, I believe. I'm not sure if it supports SLI, probably, but that's additional for that. And we have an 8-pin and a 4-pin on the CPU for power, not on the CPU, but on the motherboard to power up the CPU. I'm starting to think this might be a 990FX chipset. Alright, so let's check what Google has to say. Asus ROG Crosshair V formula. I don't see any letters after that, it's just formula. And this is a, oh wow, it is a 990FX socket motherboard. Interesting. This is a good motherboard. Props to Brian for that one. Let's look at what else we got. Holy crap. We have an Antec 1000 watt power supply. It doesn't appear to be rated anything specific, but it probably just because it's an old power supply, but Antec makes good power supplies, so I imagine this one would be pretty good. It's got a 160 watt max on the 3.3 volt and 5 volt rails, and 840 watt max across 12 volt rails. So according to this, it's from 2009. So yeah, it is a bit old, but 1,000 watts. Wow, wouldn't have expected to see that. What's interesting about this fan or this power supply too is it has the fan on the back, so the airflow is actually straight through from front to back instead of bottom up or bottom up and through where it has to go at a 90-degree angle. This could be more efficient. You don't normally see this, but I guess there's a good reason for that too. So interesting thing about this case, and I saw this with Wayne's, is it has these docks right here. So that way you can take hard drives in and out very easily, because these docks, you just plug the serial ATA power and data to these docks, and then the dock goes to the motherboard. So a drive can just slide in and out from this send. So that's kind of cool, but if you don't really want to use it, these can just unscrew and you can just put whatever you want there and plug it in the normal way. We have a couple of fans here. We have these red stock Antec fans in the back. There's a 120mm fan in the top. Actually, it may even be a 140mm. Can't tell. We have a DVD drive on here, and that's pretty much it. So this case has tons of room for tons of drives. It's got tons of room for a big motherboard. I believe this is an e-atx motherboard, and in here it looks small. So this may come in handy for something else that I might be working on. But overall, for free, you get I got a 1,000 watt power supply, a really nice AM3 Plus motherboard, 990FX chipset, and a case that with a little bit of, you know, some polish, it will look pretty good. I may be able to do something with this for someone, but for now, it's just gonna go in the disassemble pile, I guess you could call it, for me to get it all taken apart, cleaned up, and then I can figure out what to do with it from there. So Brian also hooked me up with this monitor, which is kind of nice as a matter of fact. Older Dell monitor, a little dusty of course, just a little cleanup will take care of that. It's cracked on the corner, but that's not a big deal. The monitor still works. This is like a 21-inch, it looks like. But it's 1680 by 1050 resolution, which is the same size and resolution that I have on the test bench monitor behind me right there. But as you can see, that one's all scratched up from some issues in the past, and I think I might swap this one out. If not, I might actually set it up as a third monitor on my main rig, just have more space for my streaming stuff and all that, so I can have more monitors to look at, because 2 monitors is almost not enough really if you want to have all the stuff to look at, OBS and all the chats and all the windows that you need, whatever the case is. Really cool that Brian hooked me up with all this stuff. Gonna be interesting to see what I do with it. AMD cooler, poopy. I mean, this on a 990FX motherboard is not gonna get me any overclocking if I decide to do anything with this FX 4100, or you know, I happen to find an 8350 or an 8370 for cheap online and I can do something with that. Anyways, I'm gonna leave everything into the case right now because I don't have a lot of room, so leaving all the parts inside the case is probably the easiest way for me to store this stuff. So yeah, that'll do it for me. By the way, you guys, make sure to check out our giveaway. It's gonna be linked right up here as well as in the description below. You guys can win yourself a 6-core gaming PC, so it's gonna be great. The donations on stream will get you extra entries, and all that money is going to go right back into the build, beef it up, maybe give some more memory, add some RGB bling to it, something like that. And yeah, so make sure to check that out. If you guys like this video, click that thumbs up button. If you want to see more content like this, make sure you click that subscribe button, hit the little bell on the side of it so you get notifications when we upload, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one. Bye. Listen,